How's it going, everybody? I'm back again with another Gadget Gabble, and I just want to preface this right away. This is not going to be like the last one. Unlike the 130 Ring versus Ring Mercy video, this one's going to be going over the strengths, the weaknesses, and playstyles of Drift Charge Kit versus Counter Quick Charge. These two gadgets are drift-related gadgets. One that is for beginner friendliness, very nice, very easy to use, and simplistic, versus the other hand of the spectrum, you have a very high mastery curve, technical, high skill ceiling gadget. Now, these two gadgets are very, very enjoyable. I'm saying that specifically because I love both of these gadgets, and I have played both of them to a pretty heavy degree, not only just in Sonic Speed, but in Supersonic Speed, especially when I used to do a ton of time trialing. And I actually did some more time trialing recently to improve some times, just to practice Counter Quick Charge and Drift Charge Kit to give you guys a better understanding of the strengths, the weaknesses, and how both play relative to each other and just relative to the game itself. Now, before we get started, I want to state this right now. I am not going to be the best person in the world to state every single little tidbit between these two gadgets. I have bias to Counter Quick Charge, and I really love Counter Quick Charge a lot. I find it very fun. I find it very high risk, high reward in a way, where Drift Charge Kit I am not the best on, ironically, and this is because I've been playing a lot more builds that utilize level 2 and level 3 drift boosting rather than level 1 and level 2, and this is something we will get into here shortly. But to start us off, I'm going to start us off with Drift Charge Kit, because Drift Charge Kit doesn't have too much going on for it, so it should be relatively easy to talk about its strengths, weaknesses, and the playstyle that you're going to be accompanied with it. And then we will get into Counter Quick Charge, which is going to be a much more in-depth section, but I'm still going to try to keep this video under 20 minutes if I can. If I cannot, I am so sorry, guys. But anyways, let's get on to Drift Charge Kit. So let's get started with the Drift Charge Kit's strengths. Now, one of the strengths you probably already heard me talk about was actually the ease of use and beginner friendliness of Drift Charge Kit. This is something I want to just restate real quick. It is one of the easiest gadgets in the game, if not the easiest gadget for beginners and just newer players or people that are not proficient with snaking to just pick up it and go use online and make it work. Now, the reason why this is because in general, it has faster level 1 and level 2 charging, so it makes the skill floor overall for the kit very low. But on top of that, it gives you +3 handling without sacrificing other stats, unlike things such as the tuner gadgets, the character kit gadgets, and the machine gadgets, right? These all have to sacrifice some kind of points if you put it on a certain character. So like the boost character kit, you have to sacrifice power, but you get boost, which is really good. It makes it so there's a lot of ease of use with this kit, and it makes it very easy to slot into many builds and make it work very well. Not only that, Drift Charge Kit is just very reliable. So unlike Tech Drift and Friction Drift, which require you to be on land at all times to get the maximum value and to get any value off the gadgets in general, Drift Charge Kit actually works on every single map, and you don't have to avoid any of them. So whether it's you're on land, you're in the water sections, or you're in the flight sections, Drift Charge Kit does still charge your level 1 and level 2s very quickly, which is very nice. It makes it very easy to take these sections very quickly and just in general handle these sections very well, especially for newer players. Now, even with all these nice little benefits that Drift Charge Kit does have, and especially the fact that it's very reliable and very easy to utilize and slot into just about any build, there are a few weaknesses Drift Charge Kit does have that I would like to go over. One of them is being the fact that it's 3 slots in total. So with your gadget plates, if you don't play Crossworlds, this is for you guys. You have 6 total slots in your gadget plate that you can utilize. You can only put slots in a horizontal formation. You can't do vertical. It sucks, but if we could, we get 3 2-slot gadgets in. But anyways, because of Drift Charge Kit having 3 slots, you take up half your build and restrict your build heavily. And this is a bad thing for a lot of reasons, because most really solid builds like Ring Game Boost utilize a 4-slot combo, which is like Excel Character Kit plus Dash Panel Mini, or Ring Game Boost 2 with Slipstream Bounty and Dash Panel Mini, things of that nature. So you are restricting your build path overall for your gadgets because of the fact that you're taking up half your total slots. Now, granted, you can still find success by putting Drift Charge Kit in and then still running Excel Character Kit or running Quick Recovery or whatever. You can still find success. I'm not saying you can't. What I'm saying is that because you're restricting your build, you have to sacrifice some crucial 1-slot filler gadget that makes the builds even stronger for Drift Charge Kit to be slammed in very consistently. Not only that, Drift Charge Kit also struggles to get level 3 drift boost off, and the reason why I want to point this out is because level 1 and level 2s are very quick to charge with this kit, but the level 3s are deceptively slower, and because of that, it can be very jarring, and the level 3s just feel like it takes an eternity. So because of that, it can really throw people off and make them feel really inconsistent when they're driving. And because of its heavy prioritization on level 1 and level 2 drift boost, this can actually be a detriment on very long turns, such as Wonder Museum Spiral at the very beginning of the track. There's also Chronos has a lot of turns that you want to get level 3s off so you don't spin out, things of that nature. If you try to spam level 1s and level 2s on turns, you can spin out super easily, and it's very hard to do consistently. Ocean View is another great example of a very long turn early on the track that you want to get a level 3 off beforehand. Expo has one as well. But anyways, to deviate off of this, there is a low skill ceiling with Drift Charge Kit. That is not necessarily a weakness, but it is definitely a bad thing, because the lower skill ceiling means there's only so much you can do before this kit is at maximum potential, and it comes down to your driving lines and your item usage. So you can't really min-max it to a super high degree compared to something like Tech Drift in level 4 or Counter Quick Charge, things of that nature. Finally, overall, Drift Charge Kit has a lower overall uptime in the level 2 and level 3 Drift Charge state compared to Counter Quick Charge, and we'll touch up on that more in the Counter Quick Charge section, but this is all because of the level 1 and level 2 prioritization for Drift Charge Kit. Now, again, in my opinion, this is a pretty sizable weakness to put it here, but for some people, they'll probably tell me it's not that big of a deal. If you think that way, comment down below. But these are the strengths and weaknesses of Drift Charge Kit. It is a very reliable, easy to use gadget. Because of its reliability and ease of use, it makes it very easy to slam into many builds. But again, it's very rough when it comes to how restrictive it actually is, and it's deceptively restrictive, but you can still find a lot of success with it. Now we've talked about the strengths and weaknesses of Drift Charge Kit, I want to just at least point one thing out. I think this kit is very good overall. It's a very solid kit, one of the best in the game in my opinion, and as long as you know your level 2 and level 3 timings, you can make this kit work very well. And even if you're not the best at snaking, this helps out quite a lot with learning how to snake reliably and how to snake just in general at a very decent level. Now, granted, when we talk about Counter Quick Charge, there's going to be a massive difference when it comes to how Counter Quick Charge plays, but Drift Charge Kit is going to be your reliable, easy to use, consistent kit. Now, let's talk about my personal favorite drifting gadget of all of them, Counter Quick Charge, one of the most fun gadgets in the game. So let's talk about Counter Quick Charge. There's some specific strengths with Counter Quick Charge compared to Drift Charge Kit, but there are also some very specific weaknesses. We'll talk about the strengths. You might have noticed right away that I'm going from 0 speed to max speed very quickly with Counter Quick Charge. This is because of two reasons. One, it is super good in supersonic speed. It is very, very good because of the faster speed of supersonic speed and the faster drift boost charge times. You're able to counter back so quickly that you can get instant level 1s, and this is still possible in sonic speed, but just to a lesser degree, unfortunately. But it's still possible, and it still provides the fastest way to go from 0 to 100 speed without using any items in the game if you know what you're doing. Not only that, it is very reliable for getting level 1 and 2s just like Drift Charge Kit is, but it's a little more reliable for getting a level 3 boost off when you need it most, unlike Drift Charge Kit. Now, I say this because of the counter back mechanic. If you have your counter drift mechanic still available for your drift, because you only get one counter drift charge per drift. So if you accidentally say you counter drift and then re-drift right after, you've wasted it and you can't get it back for the rest of that drift. So you have to know when to time it. But if you have it available and you're on level 2, you can go to a level 3 boost very reliably, and it's something that cannot be understated, especially in supersonic speed. Now, unfortunately, supersonic speed is not going to be available online for God knows how long, right? But there's still some other strengths I would like to talk about. One of the biggest things is it also has the lowest charge gap between each drift boost. So from level 1 to level 2 to level 3, if you counter drift on any of those, you can go to the next drift level very quickly. It is unbeatable with how fast you can get to the next drift boost, and you can have very high uptime on your level 2 and level 3 boost states, which is very nice, and you can stack your level 2 and 3s together very consistently. And as you probably heard already, it is super good in supersonic speed. When you mastered this gadget for supersonic speed, this gadget is absolutely nuts. It makes you very, very fast, makes you very reliable, you get all the drifts off you need, and when paired with Perfect Charge Bounty, it is a ring generation machine. You literally have a banana tycoon from BTD 6. It is nuts. On to the weaknesses. Counter Quick Charge has very specific weaknesses that are specific to the gadget itself. One of the biggest things is actually it's got a very high execution threshold compared to all the other gadgets in the game, outside of maybe Tech Drift plus level 4. The reason I want to state this out really quickly is the fact that Counter Quick Charge actually has something very interesting to it, and it does snap drift-like inputs. What do I mean by this? So let's do a quick crash course to anyone that doesn't know what snap drifting is. If you want to snap drift, let's say I'm holding in the right direction, and I want to do a snap drift in order to realign myself because I'm taking a very rough turn, just like on Ocean View, right? And I want to snap drift in order to get my level 3 off and take a really solid line. So I'm holding right, you're going to flick left, click drift, flick right, click drift again, and you'll get a snap drift. Counter Quick Charge does something very similar. With Counter Quick Charge, you're going to be holding in one direction, and you're going to drift. You're going to push left in the opposite direction, click drift again, which is going to start your counter drift, and you have to hold it until it fills the bar, and then you re-drift in the opposite direction, and then you release, right? So it's nearly identical to snap drifting, and if you counter Quick Charge too quickly, you actually do get a snap drift, and this could actually lead to you getting into a lot of rough situations where you can actually slam into walls, or you could fall off off course, things of that nature. So it's a very big thing that I wanted to state right away. And hopefully that crash course on snap drifting does help you guys, because I think everyone should at least know how snap drifting works, and it's vital to understanding counter quick charge because they do the same inputs pretty much in order to min-max your counter quick charges. Not only that, counter quick charge is a 3-slot gadget, and all the same problems with drift charge kit being a 3-slot gadget apply here, but a little more so to counter quick charge because counter quick charge on its own is very rough in Sonic speed specifically. So because of Sonic speed being a slower game overall compared to supersonic speed, it actually takes much longer for you to charge your level 1 and 2s. So getting those level 2 and 3s that you want, and even just getting a level 1 from being at a complete stop, is much harder in Sonic speed, and it takes a little bit more time and a little bit more patience, and you have to have a whole different rhythm for actually using counter quick charge comparatively to its supersonic speed counterpart. Now, what else is there that's pretty problematic with counter quick charge? Well, counter quick charge requires you to have at least a good understanding of each map to min-max each counter quick charge drift that you're doing. This is because counter quick charge, just like tech drift and friction drift, does not work in the air or in the water sections. Because of this, you need to know when you can and cannot get your level 2s and 3s off, and you need to get a level 3 off and hold that level 3 until you get to the transition gates, so that way you can get the level 3 boost inside of the water section. Because of that extra speed, it actually helps you charge your next drift faster, and this helps to at least mitigate some of that weakness of the flight and water sections of counter quick charge. Not only that, if you try to counter quick charge a boost up on a turn, if you don't understand what turns spin you out and what turns don't, you can actually spin yourself out, and it could cause you a lot of problems and a lot of headaches. Counter quick charge, unlike drift charge kit, has a very high skill floor. This means to just get into the gadget itself and just to learn the gadget itself to at least a semi-decent level, you do have to learn how to execute a near snap drift like input, and you have to be able to execute it fast enough to at least optimize your drift charge times and to be able to stay in the level 2 and level 3 boost state for as long as humanly possible, which is not too hard to do after some practice. So I am hoping I'm not going to make it sound way worse than it actually is, because it's not as bad as it sounds. And just like I stated, because of the fact that it's very bad in boat and flight sections, it is map specific to some degree. It is actually more map specific in Sonic speed than supersonic speed because of the drift charge times being reduced in Sonic speed due to your speed being overall lower. And as you probably can imply, it is worse overall in Sonic speed. Now that we've gone over the weaknesses of counter quick charge and the strengths of counter quick charge, let's go over the playstyle for both the drift charge kit and counter quick charge and which one you should use and why. So I know I said this is a playstyle section for Counter Quick Charge and Drift Charge Kit, but I would like to talk about a couple build theory thoughts with these two. Counter Quick Charge itself is a very restrictive gadget because of the fact of how it works and what it wants to do. So because of that, it does pair super well with the gadget Perfect Charge Bounty. Perfect Charge Bounty is super good, especially when you pair it with Counter Quick Charge, because you're getting your level 2s and 3s so quickly that you can generate just so many rings instantaneously. Like, it is hard to go under 100 rings with Perfect Charge Bounty plus Counter Quick Charge if you've technically mastered Counter Quick Charge itself, because once you master Counter Quick Charge, you pretty much can master Perfect Charge Bounty almost instantly due to the fact that you have the rhythm in a sense for Perfect Charge Bounty to charge, counter charge, release, charge, counter charge, release, right? And you have that nice rhythm to go with Perfect Charge Bounty. Other than Perfect Charge Bounty, I think you really only have a couple other gadgets that work pretty well with it in Sonic Speed. I think Acceleration Character Kit is a very good all-around kit for this kind of gadget. Now granted, it's Ring Game Boost Slipstream, and this is with Counter Quick Charge, so you need to make sure that your boost stat is at least reasonable. If you don't have at least a mid 50 to low 60 boost stat at the bare minimum, I do not think you should be trying to use Counter Quick Charge. I think you're going to have way more success with other gadgets like Drift Charge Kit, level 2, level 3 Quick Charge, Tech Drift, Friction Drift even. Like, I do think you'll find more success with other gadgets than Counter Quick Charge, but if you are running E-Gear or a power vehicle or even a handling vehicle with a power character that gives you a good amount of boost, I do think you can find some decent success, genuinely. You need to make sure that your boost is at least reasonable enough to use Counter Quick Charge, because you need to have some way to charge your boost reliably, because if you have, let's say you have a speed vehicle that has about 40 to 45 boost, your level 1, 2, and 3s are going to be so much slower than handling power and E-Gear that Counter Quick Charge can't really stand on its own legs, so that is going to come down to your build being at fault. So you got to be very careful about that, especially if you do want to use Counter Quick Charge. Now, on to Drift Charge Kit. Drift Charge Kit is the jack of all trades, reliable go-to gadget for a lot of players. You can see players in lower legend, you see players that haven't even hit legend, you see players that are even high legend or even medium legend that still use Drift Charge Kit. It is that reliable of a gadget, it's that consistent. So what can you run with it? Honestly, you can run kind of anything you feel like. Like if you want to run Acceleration Character Kit and you want to have the ring game boost with Slipstream Bounty and Mini Ring Thief, go right ahead, it'll work just fine. You want to have Handling Character Kit, you can run Handling Character Kit and you can Ring Thief 7 rings off somebody. You want to have a lot of fun with Air Tricks, run Boost Character Kit. I mean, heck, you want to run Alt Charge? I mean, you shouldn't do this, but if you really want to run Alt Charge, you can run Alt Charge with like level 3 Quick Charge or level 2 Quick Charge. Like genuinely, you could do that. Like even Dark Child Starter plus Inventory Plus, even though it's better with Ring Game Boost builds and some other setups, you can still find success with Inventory Plus and Dark Child Starter, and it's never bad, genuinely. Again, you might find success with other setups with this, with going full Ring Game Boost and Dark Child Starter plus Inventory Plus, like I did in Legend Comp Round 1, but I still think it's perfectly fine. It's still very solid overall. It really comes down to playstyle for you, because Drift Charge Kit is just that reliable of a gadget that you can kind of slot anything else with it, and it will work, and you will find success with it, and you can lean into kind of anything you want, or you can just be a full jack of all trades player and just have a little bit of drifting, a little bit of ring game boosting, a little bit of defense. Like I said, Acceleration Character Kit is probably one of the best ones because it gives you a little bit of everything, genuinely. The only thing you don't have is ring defense and item manipulation stuff, but again, if you're planning on bagging, mid-packing, or front-running, you can make this work, genuinely. Again, you as the player should test around and figure out what you like with Drift Charge Kit if you do plan on using it, and if you have any specific thoughts on Drift Charge Kit or Counter Quick Charge build-wise, go right ahead and comment down below. I would like to see what you guys have cooked up with these two gadgets, because there's a lot of really fun setups that I would like to try, and I do try whenever I stream to at least mess around with a bunch of fun stuff. Anyways, now let's go on to the playstyles of these two gadgets. So to round out this video of Drift Charge Kit and Counter Quick Charge, let's talk about maps and playstyles. So for Drift Charge Kit, you can kind of run any playstyle you want and any map you want. Now, you are not going to be the best at everything because you are running the Jack of all trades gadget compared to everything else. So you will be decent at everything. You won't be good at anything in a sense. Now, granted, this means all the maps are actually open to you. If you like Wondered Museum, but you hate Mystic Jungle, Drift Charge Kit doesn't care because you can play on both perfectly fine. You can just pick the maps that you enjoy. And if you want to front run, you can front run with it. Will it be the best? Not really, but you can front run. Do you want to bag? It may not be the best bagging gadget setup, but you can still do it. Do you want to mid pack? I mean, you can run Drift Charge Kit and Quick Recovery, but there are better setups, but you can still do it. There are a lot of ways to play Drift Charge Kit, and there are a lot of maps you can play Drift Charge Kit on without sacrificing anything, unlike its brother Counter Quick Charge. Counter Quick Charge being a more map-specific gadget than it should be, but unfortunately it is in Sonic Speed. In Supersonic Speed, it's not nearly that map-specific, but in Sonic Speed, you want to avoid tracks that have high volumes of water or flight sections. So two tracks that come to mind immediately for just about anyone, if you know each of the tracks, you'll be thinking Aqua Forest, Eggman Expo, and if we go to Crossworlds, you might be thinking Kraken Bay, Magma Planet, and Hidden World. Even Holosko to some degree, because it has a good amount of water, but you want to avoid tracks that have high volumes of water and flight sections. If you can't avoid it, it is what it is, but really want to avoid it if at all possible, because you are playing a front-running gadget, so you need to be full committing front-running. So you want to do Counter Quick Charge, Perfect Charge Bounty, and maybe like 130 ring, and you want to be fully in-depth on front-running. Now, granted, it is much worse than UC, but that's just the name of the game, unfortunately, when you're not using UC. Now, what are some tracks that are really good for Counter Quick Charge? Galactic Parade is super good. White Cave is perfectly fine. Cyberspace, pretty good. Digital Circuit, pretty good. Sky Road, pretty good. Roulette Road is even good. Like, as long as you have a lot of tracks that are land-based, you can actually find a lot of success with Counter Quick Charge. Now, granted, those flight sections will slow you down tremendously. That's where your build comes into play with its boost stat. When you have about 50 boost or higher, your boost stat is actually reasonable enough to get level 1, 2, and 3s off in flight and boat sections very consistently. You don't have to worry too much about having a low boost stat when you have Drift Charge Kit or level 2, level 3 Quick Charge, because it charges so much faster and it feels so much better. But with Counter Quick Charge, you do need to reliably have at least a reasonable boost stat. So because of this, even if Kraken Bay or Magma Planet is picked, right, as long as you have a build that it has at least 55 or higher boost, I would say you can reasonably be fine on the track. It won't be nearly as good as just being on a land track like East Stadium or like Mystic Jungle, even Coral Town. Like, those tracks are way better for Counter Quick Charge front running, but you could still find success on other maps as long as you do have the boost stat to supplement the lack of Quick Charge gadgets in your kit. Anyways, guys, that's been the video. Hopefully you learned something new about Drift Charge Kit. Kit and Counter Quick Charge. I know this is a little bit more experimental than the last Gadget Gabble, but these two gadgets do play very differently from each other. They are both drift charging gadgets, but Counter Quick Charge is more of a front-running gadget, and it does not want to bag if at all possible, whereas Drift Charge Kit can kind of do whatever it wants. It is very jack of all trades, master of none in a lot of ways, so it's very hard to just state which one's better than the other. I would say this: if you want something that is very reliable, very consistent, and it is able to kind of fit whatever niche that you want, I would say probably lean into Drift Charge Kit and try it out. Try not to become too heavily reliant on Drift Charge Kit, because there is a limit to how reliant you do become on a certain gadget. Like right now, I play a lot of ring game boost builds, so I'm very reliant on it, so I need to stop doing that. But if you want to try something new, and you want to try something a little more technical, and you want to learn snap drifting to some degree, at least learn the inputs, give Counter Quick Charge a spin. Maybe not in Sonic Speed, but do some Supersonic Speed time trials. Just give it a spin, see how it works, and you will eventually learn how to snap drift pretty consistently because of Counter Quick Charge having the same inputs pretty much as snap drifting. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something new like I just stated. I'm sorry that I'm rolling over the same points again. It's just who I am, unfortunately. You all have yourself a great one. I'll catch you guys in the next video.
There's 7 of us. Dude, we have 8. Dude. Dude, we have 9 Zavox. Oh my god. We've converted 5 people. Yo, we're kind of sick with it. We have converted 5 other players to join the Zavok gravy train. Dude, we're kind of him. Nah, man, that's a lobby of all time. Dude, that is a lobby of all time if I've ever seen it.